Hello everyone, Josh here. Welcome to another episode of the Ignite podcast. Today I want to talk to you about why cheaper fees will not help you build the business that you want. And so today I want to look at this whole concept of like the race to the bottom, cutting fees, being cheap from a number of different angles. I want to look at it from the point of view of what are some strategies around like why might you do it and why might it sort of help you get a foot in the door with clients. But I also really want to explore why sometimes it's really important to actually walk away from clients and opportunities who are asking you to drop your fees or to be cheaper, because on the other side of that are actually sometimes much better opportunities, and why profit is the lifeblood of any business. And if we're cutting our fees, then obviously we're cutting our profit margins, which means we don't have as much profit in our business to actually do the things that we want to do in terms of grow, scale, have funds available to do things in the business. So first and foremost, today I want to look at, firstly I want to start with why we allow this. And there's a couple of things to kind of explore here. So look, strategically, sometimes, and so like even if I share some of my own experience in our own journey, like sometimes it's actually required to go in cheaper on a project or to quote unquote cut your fees to get an opportunity or foot in the door to jag a new big potential client and then look to recoup costs. Like that is absolutely a strategy that plenty of consultancies out there employ in the marketplace. It's a strategy, it's definitely risky, and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. So look, so to explain a little bit about like our journey, when I was part of the consulting world, we had an opportunity to bid on a 15-year project. It was a 5,000 lot master plan community. The client really wanted us on the project. We knew where the other consultants were at in terms of their average fees, and we knew we had to be really cheap to kind of win that project. And so as a business and at a board level, the directors, we all got together and we decided, well, we're going to go in cheap here. And this is a strategy, you can use it, you're not. We're going to go in cheap here to win this project and get our foot in the door. And then we were backing ourselves to then do a great job on the project, prove to the client how good we were, be invaluable to the project and the project team, and eventually then start to enter into discussions with the client about increasing fees. It's a strategy and it can get you a foot in the door. It's risky because the client can turn around and go, I'm sorry, they're the fees. You tendered on the project, fair and square, you won it based on those fees. I know you put your hand up for more fees and you've told us that you're hurting and all that sort of stuff, but sorry. So there is a very real risk that this is not how it played out for our business, but there is a very real risk that we would have been signed up to that 15-year project based on those fees. And obviously you include escalation costs and that sort of stuff into your fee proposal. We were successful in terms of getting into the project, winning it, delivering the project, honestly at a loss for the first 2 years before we were then able to successfully negotiate a fee increase and got into a pretty good position with the property developer. So a strategy, you can do it or not, but what it kind of highlights to me, and like I'm a really big advocate for, and like this race to the bottom, it really frustrates me because we as an industry, like it angers me that there are clients out there that they will only award contracts to consultants based on how cheap you are. It frustrates me because as a profession, we've allowed ourselves for that to happen. We've kind of degraded our profession and the services that we offer to our clients, and we actually allow that kind of fee cutting and that race to the bottom to actually occur. I've used this example before. I use it with my clients all the time. This whole concept of like, if you look at doctors and our profession, back in the day, they were all revered as one, like really smart people doing great work in the industry, helping, like we were revered. And then doctors held their line, or GPs and specialists held their line, and their fees have gone up and up and up, and we as a profession have gone down and down and down in terms of, but we have allowed that as a profession. So like we can't change that, but what we can do is change how we approach this whole fee discussion. So being cheap is not going to allow you to build the business that you want. I've used one example of how going in cheaply to win a project and then backing yourself to increase fees on the back end is a strategy. But in general, being cheap does not help you build the business that you want. And so, but we allow it. And I often think that and what I want to address with today is like the mindset behind allowing us to, when a client comes and says, hey, can you knock 5% off or 10% off your price and I'll give it to you? And we say yes, like it's a mindset thing and it's a self-worth thing. Honestly, when you boil it right down, mindset and self-worth, how we feel about ourselves is how much we're willing to charge. And obviously you've got to be realistic in terms of the industry and what clients are willing to pay and can pay. But often if you back yourself and have a high sense of self-worth, you are able to charge and command a much higher price point in the marketplace than someone who has low self-worth or a low sense of self and the value that they add to the marketplace. And so if you think about that, 5 or 10%, that's the profit margin on your project. Like, and what's the point in running a project or doing work unless, again, it's a lost leader or something like that, unless there's some kind of like tricky little strategy here. I'm talking about the generalists here in terms of always just being cheap and always having people coming back and going, oh, you're raising your prices. You used to be $300 an hour. Why are you $350 an hour? And it's like, well, that's the price. We're really good at what we do. That's the price. The price is $350 an hour, as an example. So we allow ourselves through our people-pleasing traits and the people-pleasing parts of our personality to be bartered down instead of holding our line. And what I want to bring your awareness to is every time you say yes to a client saying, can you drop your fees, or if you shave 20% off your fees and I'll give you the project, I want you to think about the flow-on effect of that decision. So in a moment, in the moment, you're like, yeah, okay, we can do that. Tell the client, or yep, here's the revised fee proposal, done. But what you haven't thought through is the flow-on effect to all these other areas of your business. So if you're delivering that project at a loss, or if you're delivering that project at no margin, it means that you're putting your business under more pressure to then make more margin on other projects to offset that lower margin project. It means that if you keep doing that on all your projects, you should be up at 30% plus net profit margins, which is where we aim to get all our boardroom clients to. But instead you're hovering in like low 10s or below 10% profit margins. Think of the difference that makes in your business and being able to do things like having profit left over to pay yourself as the business owner who takes all the risk, a really nice dividend, to then take your family on a trip, or to reinvest that dividend into something smart that's going to return money for you and your family over the long run. Think about the pressure that you're putting on your team to then go, well, how do I deliver this project within budget? It's like 20% cheaper now. And so your team gets stressed. And so then your team start to resent this project that they're working on because they were set up to fail from the start. So there's no way they could have delivered that project on budget. And then you start to resent the client because you're the one that asked me to cut my fees, and now, we're not making any money, so I've got to put the cheaper staff on it. Like it's a decision we make based on the people-pleasing parts of our personality to either win that project, to keep the client happy, or to, just secure another 20K or 60K into our pipeline. But we don't think about the ongoing effects. There's less profit in the business to go and have a staff event, to have fun. There's less profit in the business to distribute dividends to shareholders. There's less profit in the business if there's like a really great opportunity comes past you to bring on a key senior staff member, but you don't have enough money based in reserves to actually back yourself to hire that person. Maybe there's an acquisition opportunity that comes through to you and you don't have the funds. Like, you've got to think about the flow-on effects of saying yes to someone cutting your fees. And like tying this into the theme of this episode is that cheaper fees will not build you the business that you want. And I want you to think about the flow-on effects of saying yes to cutting your fees before you say yes to cutting your fees, and the pressure that it puts on you as a business owner, the impact on the team, the impact on the project, the impact on your clients, and the impact on your family. If you've got family, if you've got kids, if you've got a husband, you've got a wife, the impact that puts on you, because it puts more stress on you because you're running a project or a couple of projects at a loss or low margins, more pressure on you to run other projects at higher margins. Whereas if you just held your line and said the price is the price, and yes, you've got to go through that internal process of, well, maybe we're going to lose a few clients here, but hey, if they're asking us to be really cheap, maybe they're not the ideal clients for us in our business anyway. And so it is a process that you've got to go through. but being cheap won't build you the business and the life that you want. And it really starts with us as individuals, as business owners going, I'm worth more. The service, the design, the reports, the team, all the things that we offer, we're worth more. And so the fee is the fee. I had someone tell me once, well, when a client comes back to you and asks you to cut your fees, you can always say, well, I can make it more if you'd like. And then the whole theory is the client goes, oh, no. The fee is the fee, that's fine. Whether it works in our industry, who knows? But like, you could take the opposite stance, which is, well, we can make it more if you'd like. But it's this whole, like, that comes from a sense of self-worth. That comes from a place of grounded, I am good at what we do. We are good at what we do, and the fee is the fee. So it starts with you. It starts with you as the business owner to stand up to our clients, to have hard conversations, to not be a pushover, to not be a people pleaser, and to really and truly think through the ramifications of your decision to be cheap, to go in cheaply, to cut your fees when asked, and really think through the ramifications and the long-term impact on your business and the other people around you, as I've sort of mentioned, you, your staff, family members, loved ones, all those sorts of things, because the impact is not just you. One decision to drop your fees by 20% to win a project impacts a whole myriad of other things. So really think it through, and in general, cheaper fees will not help you build the business and the life that you want. I'll leave you with that. So look, if you want to keep doing this business owner journey thing on your own, we have a ton of free resources to help you keep doing that. But if you'd like to get some help building an amazing business where your fees go up, you get paid more, get paid better, work with great clients, have an amazing team, then I'd love to invite you to join us in our boardroom coaching program. So if that's you, you're a business owner and you'd love to get some help building your consultancy better, then please reach out and let's have a chat about how we can help you build your business better through Boardroom. Have an epic day.